So we got to get used to this idea that we've got to win the customer's mind every month.
Welcome back. John Smybert with Ursula Dauenhauer. Welcome, Ursula.
Good to see you, John. Great to be back.
Great to have you too. I tell you, these discussions have been wonderful so far, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. I've got I think it's a fairly difficult subject for a lot of people,
yes.
and that's the area of as a service and the way the world's changing in the way vendors buy products. It's much more of a subscription model. It's
yes.
much more of, we'll implement a little bit, see if it's successful, then grow the number of users or whatever. Whether it's software, and I think software's got a critical issue in this area where as you move from licensed software to software as a service. But it's not just software, it's a whole host of different ways in which the world's changed and we need to manage this. So what do you see in those as the real challenges, particularly in software as a service, as people move to that? And how do we address it?
It's really difficult. It's really difficult for established businesses who've grown up and matured, where we sold big projects, we made all our profit up front, we were able to give our salespeople the big commission checks, and we moved on, right? That world is gone.
A lot of software people made a lot of commission out of that. Selling a $10 million SAP order to XY corporate, and I get my 4% commission out of that or whatever, and roll over those projects and move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm. It's gone. That's over.
Totally gone.
It's gone. So how do we adjust? It's probably easier for the startups who are, born in the cloud, because they already started out with new business models. But it's really hard for the mature businesses to go through this massive change process. So it's not only about them transitioning from a technology perspective. How will I deploy this in the cloud? How will I do that?
That's relatively easy these days.
That seems to be the easier part these days. It's really more about how will I sell this in future? Because I still need salespeople, but I'm not making the profit. I'm actually realizing the profit over multiple years of subscription fees I'm collecting every month. So we got to get used to this idea that we've got to win the customer's mind every month.
You're not selling once off, you're selling every month.
Every month. So we need to shift our focus on how we align our sales structure, our sales model, with that whole buying journey that really only starts with the first purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's when we started selling.
Yeah, you're right, because if you don't get the implementation done very well, they've only implemented 10 subscriptions.
Yeah.
This is not working, turn it off.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So in the large enterprise deal, some very smart large vendors cottoned onto this really quickly and said, we need client deployment managers, and they put them on client side to make sure that the software is being used, that people are comfortable using it, know how to use it properly and get the value from it. You can't do that anymore. We don't make profit out of this. So how do we do it differently? Then that is really challenging, that we need to arrange ourselves in more alignment with the buying, experiencing cycle that says, all right, how do we onboard our customers? Who will do that? We have completely new roles in our industries, like client success managers, whose job it is to make sure that the software is used, that the user knows how to use it, they like it, and will recommend it to other people inside the organization.
Well, I guess one of the pace setters in this industry is Salesforce, and they had the luxury of starting off in cloud.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lessons there if people want to study the Salesforce model. There's lots of other case studies, and some of the ones locally.
Think of Xero.
Xero, and MYOB.
MYOB, what a case study. I love the Salesforce story. I think it's a brilliant story, and they're doing a fantastic job. They really, really do. They have an engine running that is admirable. And they really aligned it back into bringing salespeople into inside sales teams,
Mm-hmm.
very closely aligned with marketing activity. They talk constantly to customers. They actually look at through data feeds how a client is using the software, and they are on the case all the time to make sure that a customer uses and loves the experience with the solution.
And then one way of building the scalability in there is having the opportunity with the software. You buy the basic level of software, and there's a subject to what your needs are, then you might subscribe to other functionality as you go through. So you do have that opportunity to upsell and cross-sell as you identify where the needs are in a customer environment. So that's a sales role.
Yes, and you're building trust all the time. You're offering value all the time. So now we need to think about who else is interacting with the client. Services people start to play a much more important frontline role than they ever have in the past. They're talking to so many different business users. Let's think about what new skills they need.
So we need a whole new business model. The way in which we interact and relate to our clients through the whole process from the first engagement to forever. And who has what role in that. So we talk about buying journey, but your buying journey is forever basically. But certainly right through that early buying journey and then into the implementation and the ongoing areas, you need to identify who has what role and how those people will be supported in driving value for the customer.
Absolutely.
And then your pricing has to be able to, and the whole financial model has to be able to support that.
Exactly, because you get the profit only through retention and ongoing growth. And I really emphasize with medium-sized businesses, established businesses who have to go through the change process because it is very significant. I've been working with an organization in the healthcare sector who grew up very rapidly over 5 years and had an absolute perfect sales model of direct salespeople in the field, selling to customers, onboarding, software,
selling
yes.
software.
Yes. Selling, onboarding, and continued support. Now, that's not scalable. They had to go to the cloud. They can't service 3,000 sites with expensive salespeople driving in cars from one side to the next side. It is impossible. Cost of sales goes through the roof.
But you need very good quality people in the inside sales, inside support that have that sales capability, that have this ability to create value through the conversation with the customer.
Absolutely, and you really need to think through every single stage and map it out so that you can actually again build the right team. So in this case, we created an inside sales team that was very much focused on retention, making sure the customer knows how to use the software, making sure how they get most ROI for their initial investment, and they worked really closely with the services team because the services team knew about where unhappiness is, where most of the calls, where the issues are. Yes. And we had marketing aligned with that. So all of a sudden we had like a machine working that says we actually have the right skills all the way through from the moment a customer says yes, all the way through onboarding, ongoing support, education. This is how you get return on investment and ongoing support.
Reminds me of a caterpillar and all those legs working in harmony along the caterpillar. Yeah. That's what you need.
But let me tell you, it's not easy. It is huge cultural change internally, and I would suggest not to underestimate that. So the leadership team really needs to get behind that and really think through how they enable these teams and how they make them work together.
Right. I hope you got value out of that. I did. It's a subject we could go on for a long time about. And if anybody has any questions on it, take them to Ursula and you'll have the opportunity to put comments in here. So really appreciate the comments that you all do make. We all learn from those and get the opportunity to get experts like Ursula to actually add value. So thank you, Ursula. Look forward to the next time.
Me too. Thanks, John.